वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। ओम श्री महागणपतये नमः। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारंभं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। ओम श्री महासरस्वत्यै नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। Hari Om and Namaskar to all of you. I find every day a new set of people whom I haven't seen the day before. So, how many of you were there for the first 2 days? Okay. I thought she was going to revise a little bit, so I wouldn't have to do it. Yesterday she did. My topic yesterday was, who am I? And who is God? I will quickly go through that before I start on the topic today. On the first day, we started with talking on the mind and how our ideals are very high, but our behavior is not as great or as high as our ideals. And because of that, what happens? We tend to fall in life. You remember? We talked about the difference between the brain and the mind. And yesterday, we went through a journey of finding out who I am. And when I say who I am, it doesn't mean who I am, but who I am. The I in each one of us. The goal of human life is only one, universal. We think we have different goals, but we don't. All of us, no exception, have only one and one goal, and that is what? Yesterday? Eternal and infinite happiness. And who am I? Eternal and infinite happiness, and therefore I am what I search for. This is only a recapitulation of what I spoke, so those who haven't come, I can't explain it again. And then we further talked about this notion that we have of ourselves. We think we are the name or the form, the body or the mind. That is only our relative identity, not our absolute identity. So we started on questioning that relative identity. Am I the seer or the seen? The knower or the known? And through this inquiry, drashta, drishya, vivek, we came to the I, which is beyond the body and the mind, which has absolutely no conditioning of the body and the mind, and therefore is eternal and infinite. However, all of us, all the time, remain only in our relative identity of being the body and the mind. Is it true or not? So for us, even to think about that eternal and infinite self is just a dream, or as someone said, a concept. So most of the time we are at the level of our body and our mind, and therefore it becomes important to manage the mind. The mind becomes even more important because that is the only tool which will help us to transcend the mind. We'll talk of it a little later in case there is time. But right now we will only talk about the mind. So let's start again with the analysis of what is the mind. Can I have everyone coming a little closer to me? I somehow feel more connected with everyone. If I don't feel scared or shy or whatever. I'm a strict vegetarian. So what is the mind? Someone said, never mind, don't talk about all these things, not important. The mind is a flow of thoughts. One thought is not the mind. What is the mind? It's a flow of thoughts. Continuous flow of thoughts. How many thoughts? Oh my God, how many thoughts? There's no question of counting them. No. Innumerable. What is the speed of the mind? My God. I believe it takes 8 minutes for, the speed of light is the fastest thing that we know of right now, which is 3 into 10 raised to 5. 5 kilometers, I was going to say, per second. It takes about 8 minutes for the light from the sun to come over here, right? How much time does it take your mind to go and come back? There are so many stars and which are light years away. That light years means nothing to the mind. Is it true or not? In the second the mind is gone, come back. So tremendous is the speed of the mind. Tremendous. The energy of the mind. The capacity of the mind. Oh my God, it is unthinkable. They did a brain mapping of Stephen Hawking, and they found that he uses only 3% of his total brain power. How much do you think you and I must be using? If he uses 3%, the absolute phenomenal abilities of the mind, like creativity and observations and innumerable abilities. We, through our education, almost throughout our lives, have tapped but a wee bit of the total abilities of the mind. The so-called intelligent person also uses and the so-called intelligent person also is talking about his intelligence only with comparison to most of us who are not that greatly intelligent. But if you hear some of the absolute phenomenal things that can be done with the mind, we find the intelligent people also quite dull in their minds. And because our capacity at this point of time is so less, anything which is a little extraordinary we think is wow, or we say it's impossible, or we say it cannot be done. Presently our memory power has become so less, so very less, that if someone says that I know the whole of the Encyclopedia Britannica by heart, you'll say, what? Isn't it true? Have you heard of Ashtavadhana? Any? Those who have heard, just put up your hands. Ashtavadhana, Shatavadhana. Oh, just 2-3 of you. Ashtavadhana is the capacity of a person to do 8 things at a time, and completely diverse things. I have seen this person at this. He actually doing it. He's not just an Ashtavadhani, now he's slowly developing himself, and he's now proceeding to become a Shatavadhani. Ashta is 8, Shata is 100. You give him any date of birth, and in a few seconds he tells you which year you were born in. You tell him the date of birth, and he'll tell you which day you were born on. He plays chess. So anyone, he calls anyone from the audience, and he says, okay, play chess. So that person is like all brains and all thinking and how to do it. He just puts the thing and then he does the next thing. 8-figure numbers multiplied by 8-figure numbers. He just does it on his head and says the numbers backward, sometimes forward, sometimes upward, all sorts of things, unbelievable things. And he's doing it all together, okay? And he does this show for about an hour and a half of all sorts of phenomenal things happening, and at the end of it, from the first to the last, everything that he has done, he tells you back again. With the numbers, that this was your date of birth, this is your name, this is your date of birth, this was the day you were born, this is the figure, multiplied by this was this, and he's composing poetry at the same time. The poetry, you have to give him a topic, you have to tell him the first word of the sentence, you have to tell him the last word of the poem, and he makes a poem in a language that you would tell him to. Right there, at the end of it, he gives you the whole poem also. So many things. You put all those restrictions, and he's doing it all in his brain at a time. He's only a Ashtavadhani, means 8 things at a time. There are what is called Shatavadhanis who do 100 things at a time. This was the capacity of an Indian typical brain. From there we have gone to what we are, and we think we are really, really intelligent. I hope you're understanding what I'm speaking. And these are people who are alive still, okay? I'm not talking about some in the past. In the past, their capacity was much more. I remember my own 2 generations back, 3 generations back, I believe, I personally feel their brain capacity was much, much, much more than what ours is. I see my own grandfather, and he used to say at the age of 85, exactly which poem he learned when he was in the 5th grade, and he would say, "Panchvi mein humne ye kaha, you know, and this is the poem," and he would say the poem by heart. Then in the 6th standard we had to study this, and till he had done BA, in those good old days he had done. Every year what he had done, he could tell us what he's learnt. Can you imagine that? And mathematical, you know, they had this multiplication of 2 point, that Utha it was called. I don't know what you all, anyone heard of that? None of you even heard of it. It's 2 point something, fraction. It's a multiplication of that, and that is what, you know, now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was not, it was fraction multiplications. All of this they used to do, and he would make us, you know, he was a businessman, so he would make us, at the end of the day, calculate, you know, the profit loss or whatever is there, this big huge sheet of paper. And we do normally one digit at a time, right? He wouldn't do a digit. He'll calculate 5,225 plus 200 and this plus 7,000 like that. This is, he used to count in thousands, not in digits, the way we do. And at the end of it, he would say, I think your figure, and we would do it on the calculator. And he would say at the end of it, I think something is missing, 2 is missing somewhere, just go check it up again. I'm talking about an ordinary man, he was not some extraordinary genius. What I'm trying to tell you is the brain capacity, the capacity of our mind is phenomenal, is unbelievable. It's the most beautiful instrument that God has given you. All your experiences, with absolutely zero exception, are all in the brain, in this mind of yours. The whole world that you are experiencing is experienced in your mind. Your mind. What is this? I don't have the capacity to produce something else, so don't worry. I have no. This is a watch. Where are you seeing it? On my hand. In my hand, where am I? Sitting on the stage. And where is the stage? It is in the hall in IIT Kanpur. And where is IIT Kanpur? In Kanpur. And where is Kanpur? In UP. And where is UP? In India. And where is India? In Asia. And on this earth. And where is this earth? In space. And where is space? If you say in the universe, then is there space different from the universe, or something is a part of universe? Okay, even for the sake of saying, just argument that it is the universe, okay, then where is the universe? When you are in your deep sleep state, do you experience the world, the universe? You don't. It's only when you wake up that you experience the world. Is it true or not? Only and only in your waking state do you experience this world. So, space is a concept of your mind. There is no space for you. No. It may not be there for me, but there is space even if I... When do you know that? That there is a universe, that there is a world, even when you go to sleep or when you die. When do you know that? When you're awake and when your mind is functioning. Is it true or not? Tell me. Prove the existence of anything in this world except as a thought in your mind. Prove the existence of anything in the world. So where is this watch? You say it's in my mind, it's in my hand, but you're experiencing it where? Whose mind? Come on. You cannot prove the existence of this watch except as a thought in your mind. Is it true or not? If you don't have a thought in your mind, it cannot exist for you. What does that mean? All your joys, all your sorrows, all your experience, all your relationships, all your aspirations, your successes, your failures, your achievements, everything is where? Bolo. This most amazingly important, beautiful instrument, God-given, we haven't purchased it. And what do we do with it? Batao. And we haven't learned. Again and again I keep emphasizing this from the first day. I have been saying, unfortunately we've not learned how to use this instrument. Every other instrument, you take a PC, you have a mobile, you have I'm struggling with this iPhone which I've just got recently. You know, and when I do something, something else happens. I was used to this BlackBerry where you go tuck, 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 and now all of a sudden everything goes, you know, this. So a small little instrument also, you need to what? practice. First understand, know, practice, and then you can use it. Is it true or not? And here this most sophisticated, this most wonderful, this unbelievable instrument, and what do? We have never learned how to use it. Is it true or not? No one has ever taught us how to use it. And therefore, how do we use it? मेरे को याद आता है हमेशा वो good old days we had these public telephone booths. It's only those who are above 40 years or 50 years who would know about this. And we had to dial. याद है आप लोग को? ये लोग को तो पता भी नहीं है, वो ऐसे देखा ही नहीं होगा शायद. आजकल होते हैं वो पब्लिक फ़ोन. आई डोंट थिंक कैंपस में एक भी होगा, है? And it used to be, the dial used to be so hard. You remember? You have to, you can't even do it just like that. You had to hold the other hand just so you could. And then after you dial the number and then you put your coin, then if you know karate, it helps. Because you have to kick that phone. Then the coin would go in. Otherwise the coin also wouldn't go in. याद है आप लोग को, जो भी बड़े हैं उनको पता है. Then the coin goes in and it would make all sorts of funny weird sounds. And someone picks up the phone and says wrong number. Oh my God. Then you have to start the whole thing again. But one day I was really lucky. You know, I had my destiny, fate, whatever you call it, was really good. I did all of that and I kicked the phone and everything and I hit the jackpot. 25 coins came out. Has it ever happened to you? Yes? Oh, one person here has been lucky like that. Then I said, I don't care whether I talked or not. Wow, 25 rupees. At that time it was really important, 25 rupees. So, those instruments were like that. You kick them, and now what type of phones are there? And supposing it doesn't work and you, that's the end of the phone. Is it true? No. You don't do it like that. You don't get angry with the phone and you do that, that's it. Got it? It's sophisticated. It's more advanced. It has to be handled with care. You have to know. If you don't handle it with care, it's gone forever. The most sophisticated and the most advanced instrument in the whole wide world is what? The human mind. Is it true or not? That's the one that made all your phones. That's the one that made all the other things that are there in existence. Don't you think that is the most sophisticated and the most advanced? Yes? And what do we do with it? Abuse it. Is it true or not? What do we do with it? Make it dull, useless. Is it true or not? That's what we're doing. Drug it till it can't function at all. Systematically, and most of the people, either we are oppressed or suppressed or depressed. And is it true or not? What have we done to this instrument? This great thing that we've got, which can give us the greatest of joy or can make us what? Absolutely unhappy. And what do? We've given this capacity to become so happy. And what do we do with it? Every second person you hear, I am depressed, I am getting out. I think it's a fashion, especially in IIT. Really? And then everyone discusses, how's your depression getting better? How's yours? Yeah. So, what are we doing? This instrument that can give us so much of joy, can give us so much of fulfillment and the highest things in the world, and what do we do with it? Systematically destroy it, systematically, not even randomly, happily Daily, on a daily basis. How dare you become better? Tapak every day. Is it true or not? We never learned how to use it. Unfortunately, when we talk of this also, everyone thinks, no, with every product in the whole wide world, you always have a manual that goes with it which tells you how to use the product. Isn't it true? Anything you buy, anything. I remember someone gave me a present of a box of chocolates. It looked so big, I was so happy. When I opened it, I found 10 small chocolates put far away from each other. Have you ever had this sort of an experience? The box only was big and the packing was big, but the chocolates were just 10 of them in such a big box. And then next to it, of each of the chocolate was written what was in the chocolate and how to eat the chocolate. I am not joking, it was written over there, open the wrapper, put in the mouth and enjoy. So you don't know how to eat a... Someone gave me a cross pen. A thick booklet in 15 languages of how to use the pen. Arey, bachpan se we have been using it. Have you ever had these experiences? Anything. And the more sophisticated the instrument, the thicker is the manual. Isn't it true? And the more technical the language, right? It's a very, then the language itself gets very technical. You can't understand it just like that. You need to have someone to explain to you what this manual and how to operate it. Don't you think that for small ordinary things that we have, in fact it happened once, and when you're supposed to read the manual anyway, by the way, before you use the instrument or after you use the instrument? Someone, when I was a kid, gave me a radio. At that time, radio was a big thing. Then it went out of fashion completely for some years. Now it's come back again, but not that much. So here, someone gave me a radio. And we were so crazy in the good old days, anything which came from outside of India was like, oh wow, foreign. So I got this little radio, foreign radio, and I was thrilled. So I said, okay, there was a manual, but of course I didn't read it. Why? Because you know how to use a radio. So I plugged it in and I started, and in front of me the whole thing blew off. Smoke came and boom, dum, dum, gone, finished. Then I took the manual. I started it. First instruction was, read all instructions before use. No use. Second instruction, don't plug in an ordinary plug. Now I already had done it, it is over. Now even if I do a parayana of that, is it going to help me? It's gone. This most sophisticated, if for small little instruments that we know of in the world, we always send it with a manual, don't you think the good Lord, with sending this most sophisticated instrument in this whole world, the human body and the mind, he would not have sent an instruction book on how to use it? Would he or would he not have? हम लोग को इतनी अक्ल है, तो क्या उनको अक्ल नहीं है क्या? Are you understanding what I am saying? And that manual is called, the scriptures, the Gita. The scriptures are called what? The manual which gives you the instructions of how to use this body and mind. And when do we, if at all, ever read it? आदमी मर जाता है, उसके बाद में गीता पढ़ते हैं, है कि नहीं? वो गया अभी, वो रेडियो गया, उसके बाद में मैनुअल पढ़ो. You understand what I am speaking? Till now, everything that I spoke on the first day, even this thing that I spoke of, it is exactly, I have taken it just like that from the Gita. I'll now give you the shloka which I have taken it from. Uddaredatmanatmanam natmanam avasadayet atmaivayatmano bandhuhu atmaivaripuraatmanah. That is the shloka I explained on the first day. Everything that I spoke even yesterday, it all came from the Bhagavad Gita, just like that. And we think what? This is something that's not for Even if I don't believe in God, doesn't matter. At least it's a manual of how to use your what? Body and mind. Okay. Now, what is the mind? It's a flow of thoughts. What is the speed of the thoughts? Do you have any control of that speed or direction? Right now? Imagine it is the driver in your car, of your car. Let's say the body is like a car. That's written in a Kathopanishad. What? Atmanam rathinam vidhi, shariram rathamevacha, buddhim tu sarathi vidhi, mana pragrahamevacha, indriyani hayanahu, vishayansteshu gocharan, etc. etc. Like this body is like a car. वहाँ पहले के ज़माने में रथ होता था तो रथ का दृष्टांत दिया. And the driver of this car is the mind. Imagine if the driver is drunk, the driver is confused, the driver doesn't know the direction, where will it go? Or supposing you're on riding a chariot and the horses are completely uncontrolled. This driver has no control over the horses and all the horses are going in different direction. What would happen to your chariot? This is exactly what happens to us. We have no control of our mind, no brakes to our mind. We cannot direct it where we want to. In fact, it goes always the opposite side to where we want it to go. Is it true or not? You want to see how little control we have of our mind? Yeah? Shall we do a little experiment? Everyone? Don't think of a monkey. Okay. All of you? One more experiment. Everyone alert? Stop thinking. Everyone is thinking. No one has stopped thinking. How did you know that? When did it start? How did you know that you had stopped thinking? You felt you had stopped thinking. Anyway. There was a person from the village. He came to the city to visit his relations in the sense. Quite an elderly man and from a really remote village. He's seen cars but he's never sat in a car. So his relation had a car. So he says, हम आपको काका जी हम ले जाते हैं. गाड़ी में दिखाते हैं कैसा होता है. So he is also very excited. He's never been inside a car. So he sat in the car and he's seeing this young nephew of his, starting the car and he's, maneuvering it and changing the gears and all that stuff. I was quite fascinated. And then because he was in this boasting mode, the car skidded. It went out of control a little bit and there was a big tree and it stopped. So he was shaken up, this young guy was shaken up and he came out of the car and he's telling Kakaji, are you okay? I hope everything is fine, you're not hurt or anything. They weren't going at a very great speed, so no one was hurt. So he came out. So Kakaji is looking completely unperturbed. Usko kuch nahi. He's saying, मैं जब बैठे ना तब से मैं विचार करता था. मैंने देखा तुमने start कैसे किया. फिर मैंने कैसे देखा कि how you were steering it and all that. I was wondering how you were going to stop it. Now I know. Whenever you want to stop, what should you do? Find a tree and? No. The brakes of the car should be inside the car or outside the car. If it's outside, it's called an accident, isn't it? It should be inside and the driver must be in control of the brake. Are you understanding? If you have understood that. Our own mind, उसकी brakes ही नहीं चलती. हमको इस direction में लगाना है तो वहाँ जाती है. Isn't it true? What we don't want to think. I told you the first day also, thank God we can't see what others are thinking. Is it true or not? Because if we could know what others are thinking, no relation would be possible. Isn't it true? So this mind, no control, no direction, what we want to think, we are not able to think. So many times, you're all students, you know. When you want to sit to study, what happens? You feel sleepy. And then, when you want to sleep, you know, see, every computer that you have, you buy, it now, in the good old days, you had to keep buying all the antivirus, but now it comes with, an antivirus. Of course, sometimes you have to buy also an antivirus, and it is. And every day, most of us, our antivirus program starts the minute we are online. Isn't it true? Sometimes you have to click to get an upgrade, but normal, this just happens automatically. And if you don't install an antivirus and you go on the net, what can happen? Hundreds of viruses that are there can just come into your system, and you know the different type of things that the virus can do. Sometimes it deletes files, sometimes I don't know much about computers, I'm just talking about the very little thing that I know. Sometimes it corrupts all your information, and sometimes the whole softwares are destroyed. Sometimes, worst case scenario, the computer completely crashes and then you have to replace the computer. Worst case scenario. Is it true or not? You all know more about it. Now, how many viruses are there in your system now? All of us are interacting with the world web, all the internet. We are completely connected to the world, and the number, have you ever installed any antivirus over here? None of us have. And the amount of viruses that are already in our system right now, I am going to show you one or two that exist in you now. Want to know? See, sometimes it happens that the files get deleted. So what happens? Some things you have studied, and then what happens? Bolo. Search. It's not on the desktop. My documents. C drive. Not there. This place. Not there. Gaya kahan? Has it not happened so many times? Come on, you're all students, you know what happens. What happened? File deleted. Or sometimes what I call, the information gets corrupted. So you can't read, or some nonsense word comes in between whatever your file is. Some nonsense word keeps coming again and again. So you can't read it properly. I'll tell you, that is what is called the worry virus. What is a worry virus? After every few thoughts, what will happen? I hope it doesn't happen. But I think it will happen. But what if it happens? No, it should not happen. Hoga hi hoga, aisa hi hoga. I think it will happen. Hota hai ki nahi? Come on, how many of you? That worry virus keeps on popping its head. The minute you are silent, something happens. And then sometimes you even shudder at the very thought of what you think should not happen, right or wrong? And then how do you get rid of the worry? You say, what should I do? The worry virus is there, what should I do? Computer shut down. Instead of dealing with it, cleaning the thing, what do? And next day you think that the worry virus will go away just because you shut it down. Yes or no? Aren't we all doing what I'm saying? How many such viruses? And then what happens? Some of them, worst case scenario, completely gone. Depression and this and nervous breakdown and fears and I don't know what all things happen. Gaya. Conked off completely. Is it true or not? Who's taking care of this most beautiful instrument that we have? It's the most precious thing that we have. First, I'm saying all these things is first to understand the very important and the need of it. Then we'll talk about how to manage. That's a far off thing. If you don't understand the importance and the need of it, you're not even going to do something about it. Now I'll tell you about what we can do, should do, try to do. You remember we talked about ideals being high and our behavior being this. And then what happens? We come down or we can go up. Now, what makes this happen? See, within us we have three things. We have the body, we have the mind, and we have the intellect. The distinction between mind and intellect, let me tell you. Mind and the intellect both are thoughts. It's not that mind is also thought stuff, intellect is also thought stuff. But the functions, according to the functions that they do, they are called mind or intellect. Okay? So whenever the mind, it's a state of, the thoughts are in a state of volition. Should I do, should I not do, should I do? Then it's called the mind. When it's a state of decision, it's called the intellect. When it's in an analysis mode, a judgment mode, an observation mode, it is the intellect. Whenever it is in a fluctuating mode, a restless mode, an agitated mode, it is called the mind. Is that understood? Whenever it is in an emotional state of anger, jealousy, passion, whatever, love, whatever, it's called what? The mind. Whenever it is at the, concepts and all those type of, imaginations and thinking mode, it is called the intellect. Whenever it is going towards the lower aspect of our personality, then it's called the mind. Whenever it tells you what is the truth and right and wrong, then it is the intellect. Don't we say that there is the inner voice of conscience, aise bolte hain na? At every moment of your life, you always know what is right and what is wrong. If you look within, you know this is right, you know this is wrong. Is it true or not? So that one that tells you what is right and wrong is called what? The intellect in you. Is it okay? Are you understanding the difference between the two? Now let's think. Each one of us, with no exception, have these three. One is the body, all of us have. The mind, which we all have, and the intellect. As I told you, the intellect in each one of us always keeps telling us what is right and wrong. Always, at every time. Even right now, as I am talking, it's not just me talking. All these number of students that are there, all of you are talking simultaneously with me. Is it true or not? You're all talking. Thank God what you're talking is not heard loud. Otherwise, it will be a cacophony over here right now. But all of you are talking. You're understanding, you're judging, you're analyzing, you're rejecting or accepting, or something is happening and you're talking with me. Is it true or not? Can you hear yourself talk? All of you are doing it. Okay, fine. So the intellect is telling you this is right, this makes sense, this doesn't make sense, yes it's happening, or whatever. The mind, the body in every one of us, including me, it has one philosophy. And what is that philosophy? Khao piyo mauj karo. What is the philosophy of the body? What? Be comfortable. It doesn't want to do any big. This says, this is right, should be done, this is good, don't do it, this is very bad, it keeps on talking. Many times people want to say, no, if you say, is this good or bad? Oh, it depends. बोलते आजकल खास करके young लोग में ये it depends वाला बहुत होता है. Is it true or not? It depends. If you look, see, यहाँ it depends बोलते हैं, but your intellect knows it is right or wrong. बाहर जो बोलना है बोल सकते हैं, अंदर पता होता है this is not good, full stop. Are you understanding? So that it is called बुद्धि होती है, सत्य पक्षपाती होती है. क्या होती है? सत्य का पक्ष लेती है हमेशा सबकी. Now, I'll give an example, my own example, so you'll understand it better. I love eating fried food. That's bad for my throat. So I have hot pakoras served to me. Now, what does the body say? कहाँ मिलेंगे इतने अच्छे? बुद्धि से मत खाओ, शाम को लेक्चर है। शाम को है, अभी तो गरम गरम। Buddhi says, you will suffer. You remember last time? What happened? Shut up. Now, the veto power is with the mind. If it goes here, becomes the majority, you will not eat. If it goes here, it has no voice, you will eat. You understand? Now, supposing is, तो क्या हो गया, खा लो. And I tell you, people, others will also say, अरे खा लो ना. मेरे को भी कभी कभी मैं नहीं मेरा गला खराब होता है, नहीं तो जो देने वाले होते हैं, अरे क्या है स्वामी जी, डोंट वरी, माय हस्बैंड ना, ही इज अ डॉक्टर, ही विल गिव यू मेडिसिन. मीनिंग पहले खराब करो, बाद में दवाई खाओ, यू विल गेट, डोंट वरी, इसमें क्या होता है, थोड़ा तो खा लो. अदर्स विल ऑलवेज हेल्प यू व्हाट, दिस वे, नॉट दिस वे. रिमेंबर दैट ऑल्सो, प्लीज. विल यू ऑल रिमेंबर दिस? एवरीवन विल टेक यू वेयर लाइक दैट एंड नॉट like that. No, now, so I eat. And then what happens? Now comes the interesting thing. Now what happens is, this intellect na, sometimes you feel like really clobbering it. It doesn't keep quiet. When the throat is paining, it starts talking. अब तक तो उसको कहा shut up, don't tell, you know. If you say no, I'm going to eat, you shut up, ऐसे बोलते हैं उसको, तो कहते ओके ओके, उसका आवाज़ थोड़ा कम हो जाता है. जैसे ही गला दुखने लगता है ना, तो ये आ जाता है, I told you so. एंड जब ऐसा होता है, जब अंदर से ये आवाज़ होती है कि I told you, तब अगर बाहर से कोई कह दे, माँ हो या कोई भी है, नॉर्मली इट इज द मदर ओनली हु टेल्स, आई टोल्ड यू, एंड जब देन यू फील लाइक शाउटिंग एट, डोंट टेल मी एनीथिंग. व्हाई? बिकॉज योर ओन बुद्धि इज टेलिंग यू द सेम थिंग. एनीवे, वो बुद्धि खुद कह रही है कि अरे जो खाया बताया था ना कि ऐसा होगा ना, सफर हो. इट डजंट कीप क्वाइट. नाउ व्हाट हैपेंस इज, विद इन अस देयर इज अ split personality or split this, you know, क्या कहते हैं, there is a divorce within us, there is an opposition party within us. You understand? And then what happens? On the other hand, if the mind says okay, you say don't eat, okay fine, big deal, now you are losing this great chance, okay. Now what happens? The body has no will and wish of its own. It cannot do anything. So what is it? Okay, like a bad loser. Then what happens? You don't eat. And then you feel, oh, thank God I didn't eat, I would have had it. Are you understanding? And this is happening to you every day of your life. Yes or no? Every day. Starts with waking up in the morning. Buddhi says, chalo utho, utho, utho. At the right time, Buddhi wakes you up. What does the mind say? आधे घंटे बाद. Is it true or not? And the आधा घंटा becomes, every morning it starts with that. Then even if you smoke every day of your life, or you drink every day of your life, every day in the morning, the first thought that comes to your mind is, today I will not smoke, today I will not drink. Is it a fact or not? Everyone's looking as though none of you drink or smoke. Then why is that first thought like that? Please answer. Why that first thought tells you, I won't do it today? You should otherwise say simply, that's okay, fine. Because if you think it's fine anyway, then why that first thought, today I will not? First thought will be like that. Second thought will say, okay, chalega. Yeah, the first thought will be like that, and you'll say, no, today I will not, and not today I have to control, and no, I can't do it, no, it's not right, and I know what happens to me, and I go like that, and I get up in a causal condition, my buddhi doesn't work well, I'm not going to do it, not good. Till what time? Till 12 in the afternoon. After that, the mind starts making its mind. What? 5 बजे के बाद, 6 बजे के बाद. Is it true or not? Bully. And by 7 o'clock, only one thought. What is that? Then next day morning again. Today nahi. Not today. Not today. Are you understanding? So who becomes our own enemy? We don't need enemies outside, believe me. We've got one. Our own mind can become our own enemy, and our own mind can become our own friend. Atmaiva atmano bandhuhu, atmaiva ripuratmanaha. You don't need to search for one outside. Are you with me? Managing the mind? Now, one of the things, important things that we need to do, and we should do, and it's good to do, all of us keep looking at ourselves, especially when we are young, at any shining surface available. Isn't it? Mirror is there. Some of us have a comb right in our pocket. Isn't it? Before you come out of your hostel rooms, you look at yourself. Right? Supposing when you see yourself in the mirror and you find a black spot, what do? Do you clean the mirror? You? It's a good thing to look at yourself. We all the time keep looking at the body, but it's a good thing to look at our minds. To see what is there, how, and I tell you, this is one of the very important ways by which you control. First, we have to know the mind. Then you can do something about it. There are 4 aspects. Okay, let me speak it that way. There are 4. It's 5 o'clock. Shall I continue? Are you sure, all of you? You won't get impatient? Because if you get impatient, then I won't feel comfortable. Yeah? All of you? If someone has to go, please go. Yeah. Okay. Just for the sake of understanding, we can divide the mind into 4 parts. Number 1, that part of the mind that others also know and we also know. Some person is really very angry in nature, then others also know कि बहुत गुस्सा करता है और खुद को भी पता है कि बहुत गुस्सा होता है. Is it true or not? Second part of the mind is that which others know but we don't know. It's very interesting, huh? Someone will say, he is a very proud guy. He is very, अपने आप को कुछ और ही समझता है. But you ask that same person, he'll say, me and proud? No, never. पता है कि अंदर ये बहुत क्या है, होता है कि नहीं? So there's one part of the mind where that what others know, but we don't know about our own mind. No, let me finish, then we can ask questions. The third part of the mind is that which we know but others don't know. There's one aspect of our mind that only we know because it's so intimately connected to us. We only know, others just don't know. Sometimes we may be very shy in nature or something. Outside we may appear very confident, but inside we may be shy. So only we know, and that is why each one of us, with no exception at all, has this feeling inside our heart, no one really understands me. Yes or no? Don't you all feel that? Andar se really no one actually understands me. However much you talk, when people are, married for years together with their spouses also, still वो कहते हैं समझते नहीं अंदर मुझे क्या हो रहा है, मुझे ही पता है, आपको क्या पता, मुझे अंदर से क्या हो रहा है. You get the point? So it's a fact that there's some part of your mind that only what? We understand, others just don't know or understand. And there's a fourth part of the mind which neither others understand nor we know. And when those thoughts come up, sometimes you are shocked with your own thoughts. Is it true or not? They may be good and divine, or they may be very bad, and you say, my God, the person may be looking very nice and delicate and sweet and all, and under say violent thoughts, I'm going to destroy everyone. Bahar lagenge ekdam. Is it true or not? Whether, and you get shocked with your own thoughts, and my God, am I thinking like that? So the first way by which we can manage our mind is what? First, know the mind. If you don't even know it, how are you going to manage it? Agreed? So we give appointment to everyone in the world. We should be able to give appointment to ourselves. Let me see myself. Let me meet myself. Let me know myself. Let me understand myself. Okay? Everyone? हम लोग क्या होता है, थोड़ा ही मन खाली हो गया, बस immediately हम फोन पे करते हैं all the time. We never just be with our mind. And I tell many times, if you don't like to be with your own mind, how can you expect others to like to be with you? If you don't like to be with yourself, are you understanding? How can others like being with you? So we should be able to be with our mind. Not the type that depressed people are there thinking only depressed thoughts and I am a failure, and I am you. Not like that. To be able to see what type of thoughts go on in my mind, how are they? And now I'm going to tell you something very important. This is the last thing we will say. There's lots we can talk about, but I'll just tell you this last thing. So whenever we see anything that's happening in our mind, which may not be so positive, let's say, so what do we normally do? The first thing we do is try to escape, not just look at it. Pretend it doesn't exist. Not just accept it at all. Just, isn't it true? Supposing some worry thoughts come, chalo, escape. I don't want to look at it. Is it true or not? Some thoughts which are very miserable or negative or this, immediately we want to escape from it. Supposing you find that you are jealous, you don't want to accept that you are jealous, and what you do, immediately try to go into a denial and escape. No, aisa kaisa ho sakta hai? Not there, not there, not there. And then you try to see something and you try to find fault with someone else, look somewhere else so that you can escape from your own mind. Yes or no? Most of us do it all the time. Second, it doesn't solve the thing that's there in the mind. Just suppresses it. Again it surfaces and no. Again. The second thing that we do, which is really very, very detrimental, and that is justification. We're very good at it. Supposing you get angry, what do you say? तो क्या हो गया? मेरी जगह आप होते तो आप भी गुस्से होते. You get this point? Don't we say that? अरे उसने ऐसे बोला इसलिए मैंने गुस्सा किया, वो ऐसे नहीं बोलता तो मैं क्यों गुस्सा करता. So that means what you have done? You have justified your anger, and if you've justified something, you will never be able to get out of it because you think it's okay. Have you got this point? Yes or no? If you've justified it, you say it's fine, let it be, it's okay, nothing wrong with it. Because this happened, because, the minute you put a because, khalas. I am like that because in my childhood. Others have gone through worse things and they've not become like that. All those funny things we say. Swamiji, आप अगर IIT में पढ़ते ना तो आपको पता चलता. यहाँ stress कितना होता है. And so you were the only ones who studied. And I am telling you, the number of hours you study is not that much. We think we study a lot of hours. Whole night, I tell you, I did all this foolishness, as much as you are doing probably now. We think that we can study only at night. This is one big Brahma. And then what do? We won't study the whole day because we want to study at night. I'm telling you, all games we play with ourselves. So you keep awake all day doing nothing because you're going to what? Supposed to be. Then 10 बजे के बाद में, अरे 8 बजे बैठ जाओ, नहीं 10 बजे के बाद में, because that's when the day starts. Then what do? Because that time is an odd time, the body is not going to take it, so chai. Every half an hour, chai. This. And we think, you see the number of us, चलो उसको जाके देख के आते हैं कि वो क्या करता है, वो भी करता है, company लेगा, ये. If you see the number of hours that you actually study, it will be hardly any hours. Otherwise you would have slept properly, studied in the daytime and got much more achieved by a fresh mind. Are you understanding? Then the next day morning, how do you get up? Lecture हो रहा है, पता नहीं वो क्या बोल रहा है, वो ही उसको ही पता है. Then after some time 12 के बाद में you surface. Then you won't do anything because you have to study after 10. So whole evening you will waste doing nothing. Yes or no? I have done all of this what you've done. So कोई बड़ी बात नहीं. इसलिए I can tell you in graphic details. So what I am trying to tell you is that mind can justify anything. And we keep all these, funny things, because, Swamiji, my professors don't appreciate me. So, which professors have ever appreciated anyone? When I do something, no encouragement. When you were born, did the world sign a contract with you that hereby you shall be encouraged all your life? Please tell me. All of you, please tell me. कोई contract लिख के दिया है सबको क्या? कि the whole world will understand and encourage you. Why should they? Are you understanding that? बोलिए. Why should they? Everyone who has become great in this world has not become great because of circumstances. They have become great in spite of circumstances. Please note all of that. What? Whoever has become great in this world and achieved anything at all has become so not because of circumstances but in spite of circumstances. Will you all remember that? Next time, don't crib around and complain, है कोई encourage नहीं करता है, मेरा appreciate करता ही नहीं, हम इतना काम करते हैं, कोई हमको देखता भी नहीं है, हमको बोलता भी नहीं है, हमको कैसे लगेगा? Weak minds talking. Are you understanding that? You look at this Narendra Modi, I don't think anyone has ever opposed any person in this country as much as they opposed him. Is it true or not? Follow. He became great because of encouragement or in spite of all the discouragement? Are you understanding? Little things hoti hai and Swamiji's stress level in IIT is very high. And so I am happily depressed. So I give justification for my depression. So, what is it? First is what? Escape. Second is what? Justification. The third thing that we do, which is completely detrimental, is condemnation. मैं तो ऐसे, I am a failure. I will never succeed. Everyone will be better than me. I don't know anything. Is it true or not? What happens? And the fourth is called identification. The more you identify, the more the momentum of the mind increases. You can't see the thing. If I see something too close, I am not able to see it objectively. Supposing I want to see a painting and I put it right close to my nose, I can't see it, the whole vision goes haywire. Have you understood that? But if I put it at the right distance and I see it, I can see it properly. Similarly, my own self, I am not able to see it objectively because I just see it too close. If I can put that distance and see, then what happens? I see, oh, yes, I do this, yeah. I have not very nice thoughts. It's not good to think like that about others, yeah. Are you understanding what I'm speaking? If we see ourselves too closely, we can't. It's like even, parents seeing their own children. They don't see them objectively at all. If other people's children do the same thing, they'll say, "Hare, ये क्या बच्चा है? ऐसे करना चाहिए क्या? How badly he is brought up." ऐसे बोलेंगे ना. और खुद का बच्चा वो करता है, स्वामी जी इस उम्र में सब ऐसे ही करते हैं. और कहते हैं पेरेंट्स तो, स्वामी जी मेरा बेटा है ना ऐसे बाहर से भले ऐसे है पर अंदर से बड़ा अच्छा है, अंदर से. मैंने कहा वो अंदर का कभी तो बाहर निकले. अंदर ही अंदर सब बोलते हैं, कुछ तो कुछ बाहर निकले, कुछ दिखा. ठीक है? Are you understanding? We're never able to see our own very close people objectively, and our own self, because we are so close to ourselves, we're not able to see ourselves objectively, and then we're too closely identified. But if we don't, and we can see ourselves, yes, this is it. Without condemning, without justifying, without escaping, just see, this is like that, yes. I need to do something about it now. If I can see and accept it for what it is, half the problem is solved. There itself. According to J. Krishnamurti, it's called choiceless awareness or Sakshi Bhava. Just to be able to see it for what it is. This is it. The minute you are able to see it for what it is, you are apart from it. Its hold on you is not so much. That anger or whatever it is, its hold is not so much. You've already conquered half of it. Are you understanding? Try it out. I mean, these are not something, these are all experiments. पैसा भी नहीं लगता है उसमें, है ना? You don't have to give me any patent rights for giving you this method of. It's all there in our scriptures, completely available to all of us. Yeah? So therefore, I've just given you one or two things about how to take care of your mind. Please take care of your mind. Be mindful of your mind. Yeah, it's a very precious thing that you have. Don't just abuse it, misuse it, or disuse it. Either of it. Use it beautifully and be happy in life. Thank you all very much. I especially thank the Vivekananda Samiti for inviting me, and Raghu for putting all the effort and the entire team of people that they have. And I really appreciate the fact that all of you have been coming each day in spite of all the udghosh and all the ghosh that has been going on around here. It's been quite a sound and noise and all of that. But in spite of all that, you all have been coming here for 3 days, some of you from the first day, second day and the third day. And especially I saw when I came in at 4 o'clock, I said, ये Sunday lunch की effect दिख रही है, कोई दिख नहीं रहा है यहाँ. But I think all of you then finally did manage to come, and I'm happy that all of you have come and heard. And it just shows, when young people like that, and especially places like IIT and all, when they come and show interest in this, then you feel that all is not lost. Because if you see generations of people now and things what are happening and the ways, they say in 2030, which is not that far away, 25% of the population of India is going to be depressed. Can you imagine? Every 1 in 4 person. I hope you don't want to be one of that. Because we're doing nothing about it, neither in our system, in school or at home, in the colleges, nothing is ever done to They only teach you how to learn formulas and engineering and all that. Just by learning all that, do you think you're going to be able to cope with situations of life? No one teaches us. Everyone only teaches us how to face exams. No one teaches us how to face life. And exams are life, and life are completely different. Do you agree with me? Completely different things. You know what is the difference between exam and life? In school, the curriculum is taught first and the tests are taken afterwards. And in life, the tests come first, the lessons are learnt afterwards. Are you understanding complete difference? And what is the portion and this for life? In the curriculum, it is this much. This is the portion. This is the curriculum. In life, anything can come anytime, in any way, from anywhere. Is it true or not? And you have to learn to face it. You can't say, hey, I never expected this. Oh, you should have told me beforehand. You know. The disaster can strike you in the middle of the night. Yes or no? Don't you think we should be prepared for that? We do nothing to prepare for life. Nothing. And then what happens? By trial and error, hit and miss, very often miss only, we go through life. Yeah? Arjuna, one of the greatest men of that time, most privileged, went to the best university of that time, the Dronacharya University. Yes or no? महाभारत का अर्जुन की बात कर रही हूँ मैं. सबसे श्रेष्ठ यूनिवर्सिटी का स्नातक था कि नहीं? The IIT of that time. He was a student of the best university. Gold medalist. Yes or no? You all know the story of Mahabharata. Gold medalist. First class, first student. PhD in archery. Yes or no? Very handsome guy. All the ladies went after him. When he went to heaven, Urvashi fell in love with him. You know that story. Everyone, he was handsome. His kaka was the prime minister of the country. Isn't it true? Privileged, home, privileged, everything. He had everything going his way. And when he had to face the most difficult challenge of his life, विसृज्य सशरम चापम शोक संविघ्न मानसम, नर्वस होकर बैठ गया, डिप्रेस्ड. भगवान सेड, व्हाट आर यू डूइंग? जो सीखना था वो तो सीखा नहीं. Are you understanding? You learned archery, you learned this, you learned so many things, but you didn't learn how to face life. He gave him that knowledge, that same Arjun, in the beginning of the Gita, who was like that. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurtaraha. He faced life, faced the situation of life and won it. Isn't it true? I hope I have sold the Bhagavad Gita to you. You know, they say no, advertisements can say before, after. करते हैं ना वो गंजे होते हैं तो before, nothing, after. वो तेल लगाओ. You have all like that. So Arjuna, before, after. Very, very beautiful this. Thank you very much. Hari Om and Namaskar to all of you.
Swamini, I have some questions. Yesterday you talked about happiness. So, who has seen happiness or who has experienced it? Like, we should our goal is happiness. So, if you someone who has experienced it or internal happiness.
Yeah, there are great saints and sages in all times in history who have experienced this happiness, and you experience that same happiness in your deep sleep state as well. So it's not something that is completely out of your purview.
And one more thing, you talk about the manual of life in Gita. I have read, I have tried to read it, but how to really understand it from the
It's difficult. I told you, no, the more technical the language, the more hoti hati hai. So I do recommend there is a course, an online course on the Bhagavad Gita from the Chinmay Mission. Just go on the site of the Chinmay Mission, ask for Chinmay International Foundation on this, and then you have an online course which gives you a more detailed and a practical way of understanding the Bhagavad Gita. And if you still have questions regarding the same, then please, contact, some of us, and I am available on the email for questions if you have genuine questions. Okay, not for the heck of it because I keep too busy, but in case someone has really genuine questions and this, you can ask Raghu and he may be able to help you out. सी बात तो ये है कि जीवन में है ना 3 चीज़ रखनी चाहिए, बिकॉज ही इज आस्किंग अ लिटिल सीरियस क्वेश्चन, आई एम आस्किंग गिविंग यू दिस बिकॉज ही रियली वांट्स टू प्रैक्टिकली अंडरस्टैंड. 3 चीज़ जीवन में होनी चाहिए. एक है स्वाध्याय, दूसरा है साधना और तीसरी है सेवा. स्वाध्याय, read the scriptures every day a little bit. Some good thoughts, keep that thought with you in your mind. Don't do big things and बहुत बड़ी चीज़ की बात नहीं है. छोटी चीज़ करो. बड़ी चीज़ करने की बात नहीं आती है, छोटी चीज़ ऐसे करो कि आज 8 बजे तक सुबह मैं झूठ नहीं बोलूँगा. सिर्फ 8. कितने बजे उठते हो? 7 बजे. कब तक झूठ नहीं बोलेंगे? 8 बजे तक. बड़ी चीज़ मत करो. मैं कभी झूठ नहीं बोलूँगा. That will become the biggest lie. So don't even try all this stuff. Say, I will not speak untruth. Then under any circumstance, supposing then someone calls you and there's some chance of speaking a lie also, you say 8 बजे के बाद में phone करो. You understand? But that 1 hour, you be uncompromising in whatever you want to follow. Do you understand? Don't take big things. You will not be able to do it. So keep small, every day one small niyam. Can be very small. कि आज मैं ये नहीं करूँगा, कि आज मैं ये करूँगा. Something I don't like, I will do it, I'll finish this. Something I like, I'm not going to do this. Small things like that. साधना करो, I would advise, keep 5 minutes God time. 5 minutes. And it could be anything. You do japa, you do dhyana, you do puja, you do whatever. I don't care what you do. But keep 5 minutes as God time. साधना करो. What is साधना? हमारे साधन को ठीक रखने के लिए जो करते हैं उसको साधना कहते हैं. समझे ना? Don't say you don't have time. I give this example very often. There was a woodcutter cutting a tree. He had a lot of trees to be cut. His friend said कि सुबह से तू करता है और एक ही पेड़ तो अभी तक नहीं काटा है. So show me your axe. He saw the axe was blunt. He says, Arey, why don't you spend 10 minutes and just sharpen your axe? He says, I don't have time. I have to cut so many trees. Have you understood that? If I have a very good axe, then my work becomes much easier. Are you understanding? Especially you all are students. This must be so beautiful and fine. इसलिए पहले ज़माने में जब गुरुकुल होती थी तो साधना was a part of your daily curriculum. You understand? That made the mind super fine. Any knowledge that came, that's why all those great, why is no Indian able to make any decent great discovery in the world today? Look at the state of our minds. What great discovery will ever come in minds which have no capacity at all? Are you understanding? And you all are students. Your mind capacity must be prodigious. It should be like anything and everything under the sun, the greatest of ideas, the greatest of inventions. So therefore, sadhana is very, very important. Will you remember that, everyone? 5 minutes. I'm not asking for much time. How much? How much? Under any circumstance? Even if you're sick? Even if it's the day of your exam? Mahatma Gandhi used to do meditation every day. So one of his assistants said, today is a very busy schedule for you, so you won't have time for meditation. He normally I think would meditate for half an hour. He says, yes, today is a very busy schedule, I will need to meditate for 1 hour. Are you understanding now? Normally I meditate for half an hour, but today is a very busy schedule, I will need to meditate for 1 hour, because to cope with all that's going to happen, I will need more meditation. Are you understanding? And what do? We just abuse the mind, kuch bhi karte, kuch bhi khate, kuch bhi dekhte, kuch bhi ye karte, and we want that mind to be fantastic, and we want to be brilliant students and everything. How is it going to happen? So, what? Got time? Everyone? स्वाध्याय थोड़ा अच्छा पढ़ो, अच्छे विचार लाओ अंदर माइंड में एवरी डे. देन साधना करो थोड़ी, एंड सेवा. Don't miss opportunity to help others. Do something for the sake of others. We are becoming more and more selfish by the day. Is it true or not? And you'll see even from student life. By student, when they are children, 5 साल के बच्चे आजकल इतने स्वार्थी बना देते हम लोग, है ना? You will see yourself, your whole mind becoming better and better. The love in your heart will increase. The sense of well-being, the sense of being just happy. All this will become very much a part of your life. So remember what? Swadhyay, sadhana and seva. I can talk a lot more about it, but just this much I think we'll try to do this. You know what you should abstain from. All that is rajasic and tamasic, as far as possible, abstain from that. Food, the type of food you eat actually makes the mind what it is. So eat as much sattvic food as possible, because it will help your mind. Of course, drinks and drugs, you know what it does to your mind, I don't have to tell you anything. Too much of indulgence in anything is bad. Anything which is extreme, you will see yourself, something which is addictive. Don't get addicted. That addictiveness can be to anything. So many of us are addicted to our, the computers. We are compulsively WhatsApp and all, and such a lot of useless, nonsensical. Someone sneezes and it's on the Facebook. Who wants to know you sneezed? You can keep sneezing away. Why should I know you sneezed? But I'm in touch. What touch? And no meaningful. And we really don't have any meaningful conversations with people, meaningful, you don't touch the heart of people when you interact at all. It's just superficial. So when you have these deeper, then you become happy, inside you. You have some meaningful contact with people, relations with people. It makes your life so much more beautiful. So avoid all these meaningless things. It's not worth it. Time is so precious. Who knows, I may die tomorrow. And all this nonsense that I've been doing, is it worth it? It's not. So avoid all of that. You will know for yourself. सुबह से शाम ना रात को जाके बैठो कि आज मैंने 24 घंटे में क्या किया. मिनट टू मिनट अकाउंट लो. तेरे को पता चलेगा कि 6 घंटा कहाँ गया पता ही नहीं. You can't account for it. That 6 घंटा was a sheer waste because you don't know what you did at that time. So avoid all those wastes. Time is precious. Life is precious. Okay?
So we should not just things like when someone is saying you are proud of something, you should not justify it. So how do you know you are not proud of something? Whether you should justify it, whether you justify it is right or wrong, because we are justifying for ourselves, we don't know.
See, how do we know that we are justifying? See, as I said when you look at the mirror, you will see the thing as it is. Then you give a cause for it. No, because of it. Similarly, you will see your mind. You might see jealousy, let's say. Then you'll say, "Na, na, 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 aisa nahi hai, you know, because this is that, so this is called justification. Because we can see our mind, we can see that this is a weakness of the mind, we can see all these things. हम सब देख सकते हैं, अपने ही मन है ना, यहाँ ही है, कोई दूर जगह थोड़ी है. Sometimes what helps you to see your mind, because sometimes, as I said, it's too close, so you can't see it properly. हम दूसरे में जब देखते हैं ना, तब अपने आप को देख सकते हैं कि ये जो करता है ना, मैं भी ऐसा ही करता हूँ. So it's easier to see outside than to see here. But when you see outside, don't condemn him. Find out कि हाँ, ये तो मेरे में भी ऐसा ही होता है. So don't justify that.
Now I request